Oh, nice day.
Okay. So, お願いします。
Onegaishimasu.
Okay. So we'll just have a little bit of loosening off. Just get that body moving. Okay, and we just go straight into a rotation here for the hips. Okay, and coming into the wave here, just in the hips. Big movements, opening up, closing down. And just start to free it up a little bit. Take it into different directions. A little bit to the front, to the side. Just let the arms stay within the control of the center and the hips. Nice and loose. Feel free to adjust the feet a little bit. A little bit opening out, a little bit more to the back as well. Bring the hands a little bit towards the ground. Very light. There we go. Good. Okay, just dropping into the swing. So feet just shoulder width apart. Just releasing through the knees as you go. Dropping here. Keeping the arms as loose as you can. Nice and open in the shoulders. And the back really long as you go all the time. Nice and rubber in the legs. Nice. Nice. just watch one thing in this case, which is the neck. Just watch for, I don't want you to keep the head totally vertical, so or straight in the vertical like this. So just watch for doing something like this, where you basically create a split in the body this way. So in this case, really feel that the neck's going to lengthen all the way, and just think that it's a continuation of the spine. So the spine's just going to tilt, and the head's going to follow. And I don't want to do the other side and go like down as well. Then I collapse the neck in or back. So I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. So in this case, just think about length through. So nice. The neck's really quite strong in this case. So this kind of feeling. If I loosen the neck, well, that's going to happen to it. The body, the shoulders kind of throw forward, and the neck kind of throws back. So just think the neck's quite long. This. The easiest way for me is just pick a point on the ground. It's about a meter or so in front of the body. Just let the head just fall into it. Boom. Down. 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 And just play with different things with the head. Also, twisting the head will also change the movement. So you want a kind of neutral. You want a neutral spine and also like a neutral head. In this case. Just notice if you kind of lean the head forward or let it go back, just going to affect the movement a little bit. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. There we go. Nice. Okay. Good. And then just do a few less speed and just focusing really on dropping the whole weight of the body down. So you've got the feeling now of like this. Let me know. So there's a little bit more structure through the arms. It's less kind of like this. And you're just going to drop into it. Just do a few quite slow. And just notice the organization that goes through the body. Try and feel all the time that the movements come in really from the ground. Also nice to kind of hold the arms up a little bit. And you want to feel it as you raise them, there's a kind of draining happening through the whole structure. Yes. And then you just join it. Just take a few. Nice and slow. And just notice what the breath's doing as well as you do it. Don't try and change it, just notice what's happening with the breath. And if anything changes when you start to slow it down. Yeah. There we go. Good. That's nice. Great. Great. Good. Okay, and then coming up to the hips, so just arms out the side. Just get into it first, so just nice and loose. Let everything go. So now introducing a kind of twist into the hips. You've got neutral and then just that, again, for that really neutral position. Here's really long, open, spine's nice and neutral, long, and then curl into it. Curl into it. And I find this easy to have kind of 3 points. No, it don't have to be exact, but one in front of the body, and then one to the right, and then back to the front, and then one to the left. Okay, kind of 3 points you go to. And this makes sure I don't do something like this. I really don't want to skip out this front part. So think your eyes are like cameras. Dum, 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 and you're kind of hitting it with the body as well. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you're always kind of coming back to that natural, neutral position or natural position. There we go. That's it. Yeah. Good. Great. Good. That's it. Okay, and just watch out. What you don't want to happen is the twist to kind of curl up into the upper body. So just watch now. You've got this length through the body. Now try and maintain this structure through the body. So as you twist into it, it's just the hip doing it, but it's not the body doing it here. So if you see this, like this kind of thing happening. Well, I don't want the upper body and the arms, shoulders to twist into it. So get the sense that as you do it, it's actually a release through the structure. So this structure is basically just doing that, but it's not doing that crunching at the top. So let that rotation happen in the hip. Just think that the shoulder is just going to track with the hip. So it just tracks along with it. Dung, dung. And then because the hand's loose through the elbow, it just goes with it. Like that. Again, just do a few kind of slow. Just feel that happen. The moment I do that, I'm going to twist out of the structure. So just work a few quite slow. Should feel totally easy as well. There shouldn't be any real stress on the structure. The other thing to really notice is just the knees, what's happening with the knees. And am I twisting against them? Or just letting them release towards the ground? There we go. That's it. That's it. There we go, nice. There we go, good. Okay, and then the last one, going for the shoulders. So just starting, try and see if you can get straight into it. If you can't get into it straight away, just go to this one. You just go front and back. Now the key here is you're really opening the body front and back now, so let the shoulders hit. Everything goes here. Really get the body out. And if you can go straight into it, just get the hands above the head, release. Just work one direction. And then go to the other side. That's it. And especially in this one, just really check you're really working in the middle of the base. It's very easy to get drawn out to the front as you do it, so really try and feel the back space, the direction to the rear. Bam. Bam. That's it. That's it, good. Very nice. Okay, the main thing with this one is that as you bring the shoulders up, they don't come up. So they're not actually, the shoulders are actually not coming up. So think that you're drawing the hands up without pulling the shoulders up. So you can obviously do this like that, like pulling the shoulder out, but you can also just do that. So just feel that you can get a sense where, yeah, the shoulders are coming up, but I don't want to pull it up. So I don't want to actually actively pull, I don't want to put I don't want to shrug the shoulders in this case, something like this. Now this is tricky because I've not got the shoulder open. Then as I get to this angle, my shoulder's going to shrug to get over the top, to go over. So just do within your own range, but it's not. Also this why this kind of exercise is very useful like this. So I can get the feeling that the shoulders can drop into place. So if you feel if you feel you're shrugging up at the top, just take it to here. So it's more like that kind of feeling. And I want to feel as you go, the shoulder blades are really open. This and back and down. So it's got this kind of, this is really like, I use this one for archery as well, but it's really to open the shoulders up this way. But I don't want the feeling that the shoulders are in this kind of position. somewhere like this. Let them really drop down as you do it. Just notice them. Yeah. That's it, that's it, that's it. There we go. There we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, and you can make it a little bit more complicated by just shifting the feet. So what you do now with the legs is just 1, 2, 1, 2. And this is a bit of coordination work. So you've got to, in this case, change it. You come up and then back, up, and then back. And you can play with this one a lot. So there's different variations you can do with it. But really feel that what you're doing is coordinating the handwork with the hips. So one comes front, one comes back. And if you can get that, you can start to do this in this movement. This movement. The key thing is the body's constantly sinking down. So if you want, you can also just do this, or this way, this way, this way. And don't worry too much about the stance. It's not really about the hand. It's really about getting the hips and the body to come together. You can think about kind of bowling as well, rolling through it. In which case it's going to go in an arc, but in this case it goes straight up the body. The key thing is that whatever position you're in, the shoulders are releasing down. I feel all the time the body's draining down, draining down, draining down, down, down. That's it. Ah, good, good, good. That's it. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good, good. Okay, great. Take a BOKKEN. Good. Good. So just start straight into 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒕 and just working with, just flowing through. Just let the sword come through. And really now focusing on the feet. Just allowing the body to come into this triangular stance. And just let it fall naturally in. Just the position of the feet will just allow the hips to enter into it. Enter into it. Keep the spine, the neck, everything's nice and long. Just engaging into the ground with this. Good. Just watching this guy. Watch that the arc doesn't throw you out. So just watch it as you go through. Don't let that happen. So don't let the shoulders come forward like this. Again, keep this all nice and long. And all you're basically doing is taking this position here, this here. But in this case, just watch for that happening. Which are basically, I don't want the shoulders to disturb the center. So you've got to give. Louis said something interesting the other day. It's like let the surrender the arms to the center. So this is the same. I've got to let the shoulder go to do this. If the shoulder's doing the movement, it will pull the center out. So just really get a sense that you're surrendering that motion right to the center. So this is a practice, it's finding the arc obviously in the arms, but the key thing that this is doing is also centering the movement, right where it should be. There. So just really feel that doesn't pull you out of the center at all. And actually the benefit of this movement is I can just focus on centering the cut, centering the body. There. 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 That's it. That's it. That's it. I don't always do this, and it's not really the way it is, but imagine you're going to tense this whole structure up. So especially from here up, you're going to tense it. So you're going to do something like this. So you're going to make it firm. I don't think about tensions like this. So, but something firm, which is also open. But keep the sense that this is actually full. What I don't do in this movement is something like, oh, let this all drain out. So imagine this is all full, long, and also the neck's included. So really feel this whole core of the body really strong. Then you go through it. So feel that this stays full. So you can think of it in terms of the breath work. This is why the ki is also nice, because it's also going to let everything open and expand. But think that it's really firm as it goes in. But try and what I don't do is this relaxation in the arms to spread through the whole structure so that it makes everything loose. So just feel a little bit of tension through the structure. Later I can totally drop that, but just let the structure boom. So it's really kind of firm at the bottom, especially at the bottom of the cut. There. There. And actually, the more this is firmed up, the more the arms can just relax through it. There. 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 That's going to take everything away from it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Great. Nice. Okay, and then you're going to do just one thing with the right hand now. You're going to place it on the sword, and you're just going to catch it in the base of the fingers. So this part of the hand's very, very loose. Actually, not really even in contact with the sword. So you've got a kind of like a dragon's claw kind of thing going on here. So this is on, this is on. The key thing is that part of the hand's really firm into the grip. So it's just tighten those two fingers. The left hand you can do normally, but just feel that now you're going to go back and then just catch it into that hand. But this is really super loose. So you're just going to come here and then go. Just back, go. And what you want to feel is just the way the grip's set up. The sword's just going to stop. So it's not that I need to stop the sword with anything, with the shoulders, but just the way the grip is on the sword, it's just going to naturally catch into the grip. So that goes to that. That goes to that. And there should be no real extra movements happening in terms of the hand. I'm not trying to catch the sword. That's it. Just keep the front two fingers and the thumb nice and loose. That's it. That's it. Good. Okay, the key to this exercise is that the right hand doesn't really do anything, so it's just going to track with the sword. So all you're really focusing on is just the connection. But try and avoid, in this case, something like this right hand doing something like that, or the right shoulder doing something. It's going to do something extra. Just allow that hand to do that and then fall in. That and fall in. If the grip's in the right place, if I'm kind of across in a diagonal across here, it will just fall in. So I don't need to do anything with the hand. just goes there and then that. And really feel that the left hand's the base for the movement. So the left hand's really the anchor with the back hip, and the right hand's just going to follow. It adds a little bit of stability to the cut to be able to center it. So without the right hand, the sword's really free to go all over the place. It will be powerful, but it will be dispersed. So the right hand's really going to start to take on a little bit of a job about drawing everything in, but it's not going to push anything out in this kind of way. This way. Just let it follow. That's it. Yeah. There we go. There we go. There we go. Boom. Great. That's it. So in this case, watch it. There should be no. In this case, there shouldn't be any pull back with the sword. So really use go now between the first and the second. So the first, just letting the body go through. Now the feeling is like the body just hits the ground. Boom, boom, and then when the hand's in place, boom, it just finishes. If the hand's not really in place, it will skip out of the grip. And then I need to catch it back, and I need to pull the body back up. So just really notice, get the body in place, and then the hand in place. Gone. And the sword should just stop at the level point, just the way the grip is. Done. It's just going to draw. That. So keep really the priority is always the ground and what the body's doing with the ground, not the sword. So you're looking for a really settled movement with the body first, and then allow the sword cut to fall into that. Again, what you can do is do some very, very slow, just so you're slow really allows you to focus on the structure and the order. So just do a few nice and slow as well. Yeah, and it should just feel it just slots into place. That's it. That's it, exactly. Yeah. There we go. That's it, that's it, that's it. Good. Good. Okay, and then just come into the grip. So keep all those points in mind, and then just very, very gently, just start to introduce the focus. Nice and slow. Find yourself at the top and then draw into it. Top, draw into it. Nice and slow. Really focusing on priority. So ground over top, back over front. And really trying to ground everything into the body. There. Get up. There we go, there we go, there we go. Good, and just do one exercise here. This is to check the settling and the grounding. So as you do it, you're going to find the cut and then just release towards the ground. So actually go back to this original position of just dropping through. Now, so nothing should change in the body because I've already hit the ground here at this point. So nothing really changes in the body at all. Just go here, find the cut, and then boom. So everything's still firm, boom, and settled. There. And it doesn't have to be every time. You can just work your way into it. When I feel really grounded, oh, that. That. And nothing really changes in the body. There we go. That's it, that's it, that's it. Okay, just watch a couple. Really notice what happens after you release the 𝒂𝒂. So the point of this exercise is really to be sensitive to what's happening in the body as you do that release. So just watch something like this happen. I go here, and then as I release, the body goes all the way back because it's drawn back to center. So it's looking for its own balance out. I've got to really notice that, because if I don't notice it, I get nothing out of the exercise. I just think that, and then whoa, fine, everything's okay. But actually, the body's made a huge shift, and that shift can be in centimeters or millimeters. But if it's making a shift, it's not comfortable. So really notice what's happening. Also, the position of the shoulders. If I do something like this, and then as I release it, the shoulders go back into play. That's a huge shift back to balance. So really get the sense that there should be really no real shift, and it's not about holding the body in tension. So I actually want those. I don't want them to happen, but those shifts, I want to notice them when they do happen, and I want to really notice them so that I can correct it the next time. Not correct, it's the wrong word. I want to notice that something like that's happening, and then the body pulls back to center. I really want to know that's happening. So this is really also about sensitivity there. And the body's always going to make these kind of adjustments, so you never really get away from them. But maybe 1 in 1,000, you're going to do a perfect 𝒂𝒂. Just see if you can notice those shifts. Yeah. Yeah, now it's really important you don't do, just watch this is really important in the training, don't do this. So watch it, I go engage, and then I go, and then all the adjustments happen anyway, because what I've done is this, energetically I've dropped everything. So you're only dropping the 𝒂𝒂. So you're not, the energy's not going anywhere. So watch it, that, everything stays, or, everything it goes like, damp. What's the word? Damp. No, it goes soft, totally soft. It goes loose. You don't want to go loose. Yeah. Think that you're still kind of engaged. Yeah. There's another way to do it. It's more engaged. So you do like this. You're in this position here. So you've got to be fully engaged. I can't really be loose when I do these kind of moves. So you've got to be engaged here, standing, and then come into center. Find the 𝒂𝒏, drop back, find the 𝒂𝒂, come to 𝒂𝒏, drop back. Okay, but all the time the body's looking for this structure. So just allow, as you go through it, it's a kind of really short set, very simple. It really needs a lot of focus in terms of training the also energetic aspect of the cutting. And back. Away. There we go. Just notice when you do this, notice the hips. So again, keep the hips kind of constantly engaged. Keep the hips, feel that the hips are constantly plugging into the ground. Now, the moment I do something like the hips are doing boom, the hips are like skipping out of the ground. So really feel that the hips are plugged in, and then as you go, that, and then as you go here, when you raise up, also the hips are plugging in, and then here plugged in, boom. So they're constantly sunk into the ground. What I don't do, boom, is let them plop up and down, bob. Don't let them bob. Plop. That's it. The best is also using the breath as well. The breath will kind of settle everything down also. The key thing is keeping it calm. That's it. And just do that every so often now. So do a few cuts and then sometimes just come back, pause, come back to the stance. Feel free. Let's just use it as a kind of neutralizer for the hips or calmness. There we go.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
It's you say that our it's not like our hip is anyway has to be more engaged when we go here.
Yeah.
And then automatically we come a little bit more up.
Yeah. So this is tricky because if you think about in terms of if you're measuring, let's say if you're measuring the hip in terms of tapes, the hips are going to go up and down. Obviously, because you're kind of coming up and out of position like this. So when you're standing like this, the hips are at this certain height. I don't know what that height is. And then as I go into it, the hip's going to drop through. This hip especially is going to drop down. And as I come back, the hip's going to kind of drop through. The thing is, what doesn't rise and fall is the feeling. So I don't pull the body up like this. Now, if I'm working in the upper body like this, I'll pull the hip up. So it will happen like this. It will pull up the hip. That's like uprooting. So this is like the body's being uprooted. Now that's what I want to do to someone to take their balance. So what I want to do, like for example, like Ikkyo, I want the body to come out of the hip. Okay. So if I think about something like Ikkyo, then if I'm trying to neutralize Ikkyo, I'm going to let the whole feeling drain down. That. But as you come into these, as you move through these patterns, the hips are going to, by measurement, they're going to rise and fall. But what doesn't happen is like, the feeling doesn't do that. If you see that, so it's keeping all the time the sense of being underneath it, underneath it all the time. So it's a technical thing, yeah, but it's sort of more feeling in a way. Yeah. That makes sense.
But I have also another question.
Sure, go ahead.
Like how is your knee? Yeah. Are you fold your knee a little bit, or?
Good. There's always going to be bounce in the knee. So what you've always got is the knees kind of open. What I've not got is the knee kind of pushing straight back. So there will be something like that, but like that. This is really tense. Because also what I need to do is like, you can also play with this as well. If I tense the leg up by pushing the knees back, locking the knee like that, as I go to this movement, first I've got to release it to go to that movement. Right. So if I've locked the knee up, like it's like doing this with the elbow. If I lock the elbows out like this, in order to get the sword, I need to do that with the. So I need to release it. So I don't lock it because I don't want to release it. I don't want to have to release it. So I want to always stay in a position where I'm free. Now the legs are the knees long, but it's not locked. That makes sense. So you want length through the joint, but you don't want the sense that they're locked out. It's the same with the arm. I never have the arm like that in terms of Aikido, unless someone's doing it to me like that. And then that's my problem to deal with. But what I don't do is lock my joint up in that sense. So it's the same like the elbows and the knees. I always want the elbow and the knee to have space in the joint because that's for mobility. Because if I don't have that, I've got to do all these other things. So I think especially the elbows and knees, they really act like hinges for the structure. They're these kind of really useful hinges, and in order to be useful as a hinge, they've got to be open. So there's always got to be flex in them. In this case, the knee. So there's always that kind of stance. I also never go into those kind. You can do those. You'll see those positions as well in other different styles, but like locking the legs out, I'm not really a big fan of.
Okay, thank you.
Kind of good. Where are we? Okay, good. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Okay, great. We'll go to number 2. So again, take it nice and slow, starting in the kamae. Now really get in a sense again, getting everything underneath. And then what you want is for the very first moment, just roll everything back. Into here, find the back, and then cutting through. So really working with Shomanuchi, but just really focus on that initial raise, the really important movement. And we use this all the time as we go up through the system. So really useful movement. Just like really find the balance and then go. Really take your time with it. Down in. So these 2 really important movements. Sinking, raising back, and drawing the body in. And then coming back into the kamae. You got that same motion, allow the hips all the time to drain down into the ground. That's it. That's it. Good. Nice. Yeah, so that position should why I like this kind of hammy position, it really gives you mobility straight away. So if you're in the point about balance is that it leads to mobility straight away. So if I'm in a bad sense of, if I've got a bad sense of balance, I'm loading to the front, or I'm kind of in the back somewhere on here, or I'm kind of leaning over a little bit this way. All that imbalance will lead to immobility. So it will lead to movements that I need to make to come back. So what you're interested in this case is really a balanced kamae here, so that when you initiate that movement to goes back. So you're looking for stability in the kamae, but you're looking for it in terms of balance, not in terms of being fixed into position. So just notice that, again, it's really about mobility at the end of the day. Goes here, and then just look to mobilize everything back. Just look for that one point, and that's the really key point. Later, when we come to owase work, we come to blending against an attack. That's really essential in order to do the blend in any kind of meaningful sense. That comes in. That's it. Good. There we go. That's it. Okay, see, this is it's a bit technical as well, but get the sense that when you raise, you're raising through the root of the back. So this comes from the first saburi. So if you think about when you raise the sword, you don't raise it to the front and then pull the body back. What you do is you raise it by finding the root. And the root in the movement, in this case, is the back heel. So this back heel, what you do is press into it. So allow the whole hip to sink down into the back heel. Now, the same thing you do here, you're doing the same thing as you're in this position. Sink into the back heel as you go this way. What I don't do is be in the front and try and raise the sword from this position, because everything's now loaded in the front. So I really feel that first movement, what it's doing is grounding you here into place here. Now the raise can come from the ground only if I'm in the back. If I'm in the front, it will come from the top. So really get a sense of what you're doing is rolling underneath it. Rolling underneath. We do this in rotadori all the time. Dong, in, and then raise from the back. Raise from the back. So if you're really aware of the back, then that means I really need to be aware of what the heel's doing as well. So just think about where you're placing the weight in the foot. So it's not only about compressing, it's where you're compressing to in the foot. Just notice, especially what's happening in the heel. There we go. Great. That's it. And the same that's true of the ground is going to go to the hand as well. So the hip's connecting to the heel, and the hip is connecting to the palm of the hand or the heel of the hand here. So this raise from the back is going to come from here, but it's not going to come from the front of the body in the fingertips, kind of in this kind of area. So get a sense that that hip movement goes to the palms. So that's what raises the sword from the upper side. Now the priority is the ground, because I want the movement to be grounded underneath, but I want the hip to transfer that movement straight into the hand. This is when we come to koku work. So the hip work should always be finding its way into the palm of the hand, and that's the underside of the palm. That's the back side of the hand. There. There we go. Ella, see you later.
See you later. Thank
See you
you.
later. That's it. That's it. Great. Good. There we go. That's it. Very nice. Very good. Right. Good. Okay, and we'll do one more. We'll work on number 3. So I'm going to use this BOKKEN because it's a bit shorter. So as you go now through, again, you've got this same motion and it's exaggerated here. So rolling up, and then from here, center line of the body, reaching up. Nice deep breath in. And then drawing everything down. Goes to the back hip. Here, nice and deeply rooted, and then up above the center of the head, and then coming in. And then take a nice natural breath out as you go through back to Kamae. Nice deep breath in. Sink everything down. And from here, explode it out forwards. Take a deep breath. Take a natural breath in between the moves. There we go. Ah, good, Adrian. Nice. Sink. Ah, tricky ceilings. Damn. Okay, just watch the front shoulder as you do this. So this is a tricky position because it goes a bit back against the kind of twisting motions. I don't want the shoulders to twist out of the structure. So you come to here, just watch for this happening. The shoulders gets twisted out. I'm in this kind of position. So I've actually twisted all the body up. Now all I've got to do is twist everything back out. But this is really creating an imbalance in the body. So get a sense that this structure here is all full. But this shoulder doesn't go into that kind of position. It's really opened out and drained down. So the shoulder's in line with the hip. It's not kind of pulling around the structure this way. So get to this position, really let everything drain down. The body's really here, fixed firm, there. And if you need to let this hand be, don't be too fixed with this hand, because this will pull the whole body out. So I need to be also quite relaxed in that hand. There. Drain the shoulders down, and then it's going to go forward into the body. So just notice that position. Here you go. Try not to twist all the structure out. Yeah, sure.
Up, where do you place your hand here? You place it beside your head or in the top of your head?
Yeah, in this case, it's going to follow the spine. So in this case, it goes here into this position. So I think about the sword following the spine. So it's not, I'll show from the front, it's not here.
Okay.
Going all the way around, and it's also not here, off to the side. So it's somewhere in, if you're to do this movement, kind of standing up, the sword's going to come into the center and then press up this way. But in this case, it's not to the front here, somewhere here, or to the side of the body, somewhere here. So in this one, let the sword find the center of the body, and then bring it up.
Okay. Oh.
This also, people get frustrated with this because this arm blocking the eyes here. So I want to do something like that to keep the eyes free. But you're not looking at the person. This is what Lewis said. This is a moment of perception, not of like seeing the person. So it actually doesn't matter whether I cover the eyes or not, because you're not looking at the person in a sense of having to sneak around with the eyes. So don't worry about the front arm covering the body, covering the face. Just let it follow track in. And then back. When I get to this position, everything's open. Boom! Engaged on the person. And then through that way. But that moment doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Good. That's it. With a knife. Huh. Little BOKKEN. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. This is also about this neutral spine. So tricky position, because I don't want to drop the hips at this point and be in this kind of position. This is exaggerated. No one's doing this. And then just let the arms go into it. So you take this whole spine. You take the whole spine like this, and it's neutral, and it stretches up. Now the spine's in this kind of position, but try not to, in this case, load the body up in these kind of positions. So let the spine be long and neutral. And then as you go in, I'm going to load the hips as you go into that position. So take that, again, that moment nice and slow. Length through the spine. The hips roll up, and then the hips drag the sword down. And then the hips are loaded, fully loaded, and then you go into it. Let's give it a try. That's it. That's it. That's it. Boom. That's it, Adrian. Good. Go ahead. Yeah. Good. Nice. Good. There we go. Great. Okay, we'll just do a little bit of empty hand work. All these movements are based on Shomanuchi. So the biggest or the most obvious movement that relates to this is this kind of tiny henko position. So we'll work into it. What we tend to do is go straight into rotation work, and rotation work's also another skill. So in this case, just copy the first saburi. So nice and neutral. And what you're going to do, rather than bring the hands up, bring them to the back. So you open the chest out here. And then as you go forward with the feet, just enter into the position. And then you can do two things. You can either go straight back here and then go into it, or you can just drop it back into kamae. Nice and neutral, and then back, open everything out. And then it's like you're scooping in underneath. And you really want to find the position of the hips. Really the same position as you got with the sword work. That, engage, that. Roll the shoulders back, and then drop them in, drop the hips. So use the breath, just lead yourself through it. There we go. Okay, this is a habit. We're really used to doing in Tiny Henko, something like this. Pushing the hand. This is like pushing the cut with pushing the slow cut. So get a feel. Why I'm working from this position is that I just keep the shoulder down. So there's no need in this case for the shoulder to raise up and then drop into place. The shoulder's just back and down open, and then it stays there. And you just roll into it. So there's no need at all for the shoulder to change position. So you've got this structure, this, and I just pass it forward. So this structure's all the time on. This, pass it forward. This, pass it forward. And I can just focus on the hip. That. And even though it's slow, it doesn't have to be soft. So it can be quite strong. Here. That. Really feel the whole body's coming into structure. That's it. There we go. There we go. Okay, and then just take this whole structure into the Tiny Henko. So you've got now position here, rather than draw back or reach the back, sinking here. So again, you've got this structure comes in straight away. So the structure comes in, and then I pass through it. And then find the other side. So the structure's entered into here, and then pass the hips through it. Goes right in. Structure, and then boom, goes through. Just this step by step. Again, it can be really strong. It doesn't have to be totally soft. That's it. Again, this way, we're also used to doing this as you go through. Go, something like this, so that all the impact happens at the end. Feel that impact's actually right at the beginning. Boom, goes right in. That's the point when I need to have impacted the person. If I'm going to use this as a kind of skill, but feel that as you go in, this very first moment is the ground. So the ground's underneath it now. Now all I need to do is maintain it. So maintain it. But it's not about getting to that position and then now I increase it. This is like adding the sword cut at the end. But try and get the feeling that what you've actually done is impact the ground and then boom. So in this case, that first moment's here, there, and then take it with you. So you find the ground and then bring it with you. Find the ground, bring it with you. Find the ground, bring it with you. That's it.
I can
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
ask so much questions. When you go back, here is your energy is backward or forward or is neutral down.
Yeah, in terms of balance, you want everything to be in the middle. But my energy's kind of forward in this case. Like the same with the sword cut. So if you think about the sword cut, I don't want to hold the energy back. So I don't want to do something like that. So and I also don't want to pull the energy back. Something like that. So I want all the energy to go forward. So in terms of engagement, forward. Because in that case, that's the direction I'm going to go towards. You're going to go towards something like that. So yeah, in terms of energetic engagement, then boom, forward, or more like out. Let's say out to the front, boom, somewhere there.
Okay, thank you.
Right, in this case, definitely not to the back. Yeah, well.
Can you show the fingers again, please?
The fingers. Oh.
Position, yeah, in the Tiny Henko end position. It's like
there's a good description of the fingers, like two blossoms. Pom.
Oh, nice.
Pom. The best description I've got is like a drop of water lands in the palm. Pom. boom, and it stays in the center. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Boom.
What a nice
And if I do something like this, I'm going to dribble. It's going to pour out, or like that, it's going to pour out. So I want the feeling like, think the hand's got two parts. You've got the palm, the palm's basically doing something like that. And the fingers are expanding and opening. Go-gung, go-gung. It's like the sword. You've got this, that, and you've got the tip. Go-gung. So the hand's basically like the sword in that sense. You've got the core of it, and then you've got this extension, boom, out like the sword. Gung, gung, gung. Something like that. Something like that. That's it, that's it, that's it. Oi, no time. Last 30 seconds or so, just take it into a bit more motion. So you're here, open it out. Just come into it. So just see if you can find it in more motion. A little bit more fluid. There. So it's got a more elastic quality now. There. There. And just look all the time for the base. And feel free to play with it. You don't have to do the kind of 180 degree. Roll through the space. Take a different angle. Work a little bit different footwork. Just keeping in mind all this kind of stuff we've done with the ground. Extension, open, there. Just try and take it into something more flexible. There. 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 There we go. There we go. Good, good, good. Okie dokie. Good. Yeah, the key in all this with it, we'll finish now, but the key in it is the way the hips are used. So in this case, you're really using the hips like in a 𝒊𝒔𝒏𝒕 way. So you've got the hips really loaded here this way. What I don't want to do is swing the hips out to the back. Then the hips are basically going into a different kind of position. This is okay for like 𝒊𝒂𝒏𝒕 work when you're working more like this kind of thing, but for 𝒓𝒂𝒂𝒏 works really in this kind of space of 𝒊𝒂𝒏𝒕 work. So the hips are really entering into that position, that position, that position, there. And that's really that's the kind of base that we work with. This is like a big square in the body. Dum, 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 dum. And then you basically start to take variations off of something like that. Okay. And that's really trained in the sword. Number one, the perfect one. So, we'll bow out. Domo, arigato gozaimashita.
Arigato gozaimashita.
Great.
Thank you.
Joe, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Excellent.
Hey, thanks a
Very
lot.
much.